This is Frank Fortunato with CATEX TV on Wednesday, December 14, 2011. Property auto insurers in the U.S. are standing on their legs, clapping and clapping, and so are the police departments. The National Transportation Safety Board has said that texting, email, or even talking on a cell phone while driving is too dangerous to be allowed. They cited a recent deadly crash, including one in which a teenager sent or received 11 text messages in 11 minutes before plowing into a school bus, killing students, as being an example of the dangers of texting and talking. The unanimous recommendation by the NTSB would make exceptions for GPS devices. States now have to adopt this one by one. Obamacare, as it's called, or President Obama's health care initiative, which is now law, is often castigated as a bad law. However, the number of young adults lacking medical coverage has decreased by over 2.5 million since the new plan was put into effect. That drop is 2.5 times as large as the drop indicated by the government earlier this year. These are mainly people under the age of 26 who are going on to their families' policies. I wonder how many of the complainers have children who are now covered. Siemens seems to have done it again. 8 former Siemens senior executives were charged with plotting to pay $100 million in bribes to obtain a $1 billion contract in Argentina. An assistant U.S. Attorney General called it a shocking level of deception and corruption. A former member of the Central Executive Committee and a board member, Uriel Sharef, was also charged. This is the first time a board member of a Fortune Global 50 company has been charged. You might remember that Siemens also had to pay a $1.6 billion penalty to resolve charges with the Department of Justice and the Office of the Prosecutor General in Munich several years ago. Generali was cut by Fitch. They went down 2 whole points to A- from AA-. Fondiaria, as well as Itas Mutua, also went down. This is, of course, part of the Italian sovereign debt crisis. These insurers hold Italian sovereign bonds. Britain's unemployment rate hit its highest level in 17 years this morning. 2.65 million people are unemployed. The number of unemployed youth, 16 to 24, is at its highest level now since records began to be kept for youth unemployment in 1992. A big earthquake of 7.1 in Papua New Guinea struck several hours ago. It was about 75 miles from Port Moresby. There is no reports of any possible tsunami. The Thailand floods continue to raise issues. Economic impacts are totaling over $45 billion. Insured impacts are at least $10 billion, but nobody knows for sure exactly what the insured impacts are going to be. That's because crocodiles carried by floods from their breeding farms have surrounded Bangkok and inundated the city. They hampered the work of loss adjusters. As it turns out, following the earthquake and tsunami in March, many Japanese companies moved their production bases to Thailand. As part of anti-flood prevention measures, many of them set up flood walls and embankments, but the floods breached them. The problem is the water is now stagnating in the flood walls, as are the crocodiles who were carried into the flood walls over them with the water waves. So an insurance loss adjuster shows up to do the inspection, and it's seen with crocodiles. It makes it very difficult. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.